What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe. Today I want to give you guys a couple of more manual tips. These are going to be 5 absolute do nots while driving manual. Driving manual is fairly easy, but hopefully these couple of tips will help save your clutch life, help make life a little bit easier for you in the future in terms of maintenance and things like that. All of that being said, let's get a cold start up on the Mustang. Always sounds good. Before we get into point number 1, mandatory pull onto the highway. Point number 1 is do not ride your clutch. Do not stay on your clutch too long. Now, this is something that comes with a little bit of experience, something that comes along with a little bit of practice. Manual is pretty simple. I've said that many times and I'll continue to say it. Manual is pretty simple. It takes some time to get used to it. It takes some time to kind of get the feel of it. But once you do have the feel of it, something you should try to learn and something you should try to make yourself do is not ride the clutch so long. When you ride the clutch and you continue to slip it when you don't need to, the more you're on the clutch, the more wear you're going to put on the clutch. So if you can minimize the time you're on the clutch and you're slipping the clutch, that'll save a lot of clutch life and you will save yourself a lot of money going into the future. And for example, when you're learning manual, you're probably going to be somewhere in between 2 times to 3 times more on the clutch than you need to be and using more of it. And if you don't force yourself to learn being easier and gentle on the clutch and rolling off of it more and not burning through it, your clutch is going to decrease its life. Another big thing is on the same point when you're downshifting, for example, clutch in, downshift, clutch out. When you're learning manual, it's not that simple, right? If you're going, for example, 5th to 4th, you're gonna take an extra second to think, am I in the right gear? Is that where I need to be? Can I let go of the clutch? Sometimes when you start to learn how to drive manual, you're afraid to come off of that clutch. When that extra second of thinking goes away, you're on and off the clutch much faster. I'm trying my best not to use air conditioning, which isn't working all too well because otherwise the noise is going to be in the video. Point number 2, another do not while driving manual, is resting your foot on the clutch. There's a dead pedal for a reason. All the way to the left is where you should be placing your foot when you're not thinking about engaging your clutch. Sometimes, most of the time, when you don't even realize it, if you're resting your foot on the clutch, you have it slightly engaged, and that slight engagement can cause a little bit of friction, and also it's just not a good idea to really be resting your foot there in case you accidentally do push it in a little bit. Point number 3 I would like to make is take your time when you're learning to drive manual. I was super excited to learn how to drive. I was super pumped to finally get into a manual car after almost having my license for about a year or so. I got into the manual and I just wanted to push it right away. And that's kind of like the opposite of what you want to do. You want to learn the basic concepts and grasp the basic concepts before you start really getting into it. Now, I picked it up very quickly, and then like the first 5 minutes, I was like, okay, I need to slow myself down a little bit. I don't really know what I'm doing. But just a quick tip out there, if you are going to be jumping into it, you don't want to just jump in and floor the car, be downshifting. You want to take your time and get used to the clutch, feel how it works, and kind of know what you're doing before you start going fast. Point number 4 is kind of for newer drivers, but also people who are thinking about doing this. Please don't try to float gears. I know the internet told you that you can shift without putting the clutch in, and yes, you can. Not saying you can't, but if you're learning how to drive manual, or you're not the best at driving manual, please don't try to float gears. I think that should go without saying, but I've seen one too many people try to do it, especially in a car like a Mustang, which the transmission isn't really the best to begin with. The transmissions and synchros don't really like unexperienced drivers trying to float gears, because bad things happen. Let's put it at that. Bad things will happen if you do it without doing the proper research or have the proper knowledge on how to do it. And even if you have the proper knowledge on how to do it on a beater car, please. And the final point I like to make, especially in sports cars, you know, most new manual cars in America are enthusiast based. don't go out and bash your transmissions 24/7. If you're going to be driving it spiritedly, shift it with a little bit of grace. There's going to be a certain limit as to how fast you can shift the car. And that limit isn't a physical limit on how fast you can shove the car into gear. The limit is mechanically limited. It's the limit of your synchros, the clutch, the flywheel, all of these different things that come together in the transmission. That is what makes the limit. Don't go out and start trying to shift as fast as possible. Flat foot shift, even like I said before, floating gears, all of these different things beating up your transmission over and over and over and over again. You'll see people on the internet, slamming into gears and all of these different things. What do you think happens if you do that every single day for months on end? Something is going to give at some point. If you're having fun driving spiritedly in the back roads, there's no one you're racing against. There's no one you're competing against. It's okay to delay that shift by half a second, a quarter of a second, if that means saving your transmission's life. Again, I'd hate to bring this up multiple times, but the Mustang is one of those things that doesn't really have the strongest transmission in the world. There's no reason that I need to go out and just beat this car. If this video helped you out in any way, or if these are some of the things that you agree with, let me know in the comment section down below. If you disagree with some of these things, let me know in the comment section down below. Anything you want to add as well, let me know. I think these are kind of just some things that you shouldn't do for the life of your transmission, for being just a better overall manual driver. They're pretty straightforward and some of the things that most people will know, but there are new manual drivers out there who don't know, and there's people getting into manual every single day for their first time. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.